Hi everyone. In the last class, we have established a relationship between volume and temperature and volume. Then we have established relationship between pressure and volume in adiabatic process. And we were left with a relationship between pressure and temperature that we do in this class. And also in this class, we will be covering the Joule's experiment and the dependence of enthalpy and internal energy on exclusively temperature. It doesn't depend on volume and temperature. Basically what we can say here, enthalpy and internal energy are purely functions of temperature. That also we will prove in this lesson. Now first thing here in the class is finding the relationship between pressure and temperature in the adiabatic process. In the last class, we learned that the relationship between temperature and volume is T times V power gamma minus 1 equal to constant. In other words, temperature times volume power R over CV equal to constant. And the relationship between pressure and volume is P times V power gamma equal to constant. Or we can call P1 times V1 power gamma equal to P2 times V2 power gamma. So these relations were already established, and now the relationship we are going to establish is the relationship between pressure and temperature. Now let's see. So we know that the pressure and volume relate in the adiabatic process like this. Now let's take one mole ideal gas equation, that is PV equal to RT. Now let's use two different states, that is P1 V1 equal to RT1 and P2 V2 equal to RT2. So from this what we can get, V1 equal to RT1 over P1. Now from this we get V2 equal to RT2 over P2. Alright, now the same thing V1 and V2 here we substitute in this. So what I do here is P1. Now V1 I am replacing with RT1 over P1 power gamma. On the right side P2. Now V2 is replaced with RT2 times RT2 over P2 power gamma. Now let's distribute the power here. That makes P1 R power gamma T1 power gamma over P1 power gamma is equal to P2 times R power gamma T2 power gamma over P2 power gamma. So here on the left side and right side we have both R power gamma and R power gamma, both cancels out. Now the pressure term on both sides is there in numerator and denominators. P1 over P1 power gamma on the left side, P2 over P2 power gamma in the right side. So we use simple algebra formula, that is a raised to the power of m over a raised to the power of n equal to a raised to the power of m minus 1. If we use that, we get P1 power 1 minus gamma times T1 power gamma equal to P2 power 1 minus gamma times T2 power gamma. So this is the relationship we have between pressure and temperature. Now let's simplify this even further. So therefore here what we do on both sides, let's write in a different way. What can I write here? So I can write this one as P1 power 1 minus gamma and T1 power gamma. Now I make it power to the gamma 1 over gamma here, and here also I do P2 times P2 power 1 power gamma 1 minus gamma times T2 power gamma raised to the power of 1 over gamma. So here I took 1 over gamma powers on both sides. Basically there is no change in the expression. So now what I do, I distribute the power to both the terms. That makes P1 power 1 minus gamma over gamma times T1 power gamma over gamma will be 1 only. Therefore, we will be left with T1 power 1 only. Now, this one is going to be P2 power 1 minus gamma over gamma times P2. So this is the relationship we get. So now if we simplify, this equation will be uh, T times P power 1 minus gamma over gamma equal to constant. So this is the relationship between temperature and pressure in adiabatic process. Let's also simplify this equation. 1 minus gamma over gamma. What is that in a simple form? So 1 minus gamma over gamma. So if we distribute the denominator to both the terms in the numerator, we get 1 over gamma minus 1. And we know gamma equal to Cp over Cv. And 1 over gamma will become Cv over Cp. So that makes here I write this one as Cv over Cp minus 1. Now if I take the common denominator Cp, I get the numerator as Cv minus Cp. And we know Cp minus Cv equal to R, but in the numerator we have Cv minus Cp. That means Cv minus Cp is equal to negative R. So therefore I can replace this Cv minus Cp with negative R. Now I have in the denominator Cp. Therefore 1 minus gamma over gamma equal to negative R over Cp. Therefore the relationship what we have, that one, T times P raised to the power of 1 minus gamma over gamma equal to constant. Now that one I can write in a simple way, T times P raised to the power of negative R over Cv equal to constant. Sorry, R over Cp. R over Cp equal to constant. So if we take the two conditions again, what we get the relationship here? P1 times P1 raised to the power of negative R over Cp is equal to T2 times P2 power negative R over Cp. So that makes the relationship. So what I do here, I bring T2 over T1 on the right side, and now left side I am having P1 over P2 times negative R over Cp. Now the negative value in the power, I will try to remove that. When I remove that, the fraction in the base will flip. Therefore that becomes T2 over T1 equal to P2 over P1 raised to the power of R over Cp. So this is the relationship between temperature and pressure in adiabatic process. So let's write in a simple form, that is T times P raised to the power of 1 minus gamma over gamma equal to constant, or T times P raised to the power of R over Cp equal to constant. Otherwise T1 P1 power 1 minus gamma over gamma equal to T2 times P2 power 1 minus gamma over gamma, or T2 over T1 is equal to P2 over P1 power R over Cp. So these are the relationships between temperature and pressure in adiabatic process. Now after this we are going to learn about Joule's experiment, then followed by enthalpy and entropy as temperature dependent functions only. Now before we go into the Joule's experiment, let's write the internal energy, that is E, internal energy. Let's assume that internal energy is function of temperature and volume. So volume will take care of pressure also. Therefore if I take the differential on both sides, I get dE equal to dou E over dou V at constant temperature times dV plus dou E over dou T at constant volume times dt. And if we do this at this process, let's assume a constant value. If we have a constant value, then dV equal to 0. Then what does it become? dE equal to dE over dt at constant value. We already know that is CV dt. This relation we already know it. Internal energy depends only on temperature. But if there is expansion, then what is this factor will be? Will this factor will be 0? If this factor is 0, then we can say that internal energy is purely a function of temperature. In the expansion, dV is never 0, or in compression also dV is never 0. Therefore, to know internal energy is independent of volume relationship, then we must prove this one equal to 0. So that means dou E over dou V at constant temperature is equal to 0. There will be no change in internal energy when gas undergoes expansion or compression. So this factor is known as a Joule's coefficient, which is 0 for ideal gas. And it was proved by Joule's in an experiment which is called as a Joule's experiment. What is the Joule's experiment? Let's see Joule's experiment. So Joule's has taken a big apparatus which was filled with water, in which two copper vessels were placed. Two copper vessels were placed and both were connected with a stopcock. So here we have a stopcock. And this is the water. In one gas, he placed in one vessel, he placed a gas which is at 22 atmospheres. In other flask, other vessel, copper vessel, it is vacuum. So no temperature is going inside, no temperature is coming outside. So next, what is done? The gas is allowed to expand when the stopcock is opened. So the gas is expanding at no external pressure, because the external pressure is not there, it is vacuum. Gas is expanding into vacuum. That means P external is equal to 0. So now gas is expanding against the volume. There will be a rapid expansion. And the gas fills the second copper vessel also. So in this process, there is no temperature gain or there is no temperature loss in the water. What does it indicate? There is no change in the temperature. dt equal to 0. How can we prove it? By studying the temperature of the water. No gain or no loss in the temperature of the water means dt equal to 0. So here, that evidence of water is not heated up or water hasn't lost its temperature is the evidence that there is no temperature change. Therefore, now let's see here. We know that the work done in this process, negative P external times delta V, and there is an expansion because gas is now filling the second copper vessel also. Therefore, certainly delta V is not equal to 0. But we know that it is external pressure against which the gas is expanding. Therefore, P external is equal to 0. Therefore, what is the work done? Work done is equal to 0. And there is no heat lost or no heat gain. Therefore, Q is also 0. Therefore, what is the work done here? The first law of equation, thermodynamics, that is delta E equal to Q plus W. Therefore, delta E equal to 0 plus 0. Delta E equal to 0. No change in the internal energy of the gas. So that means we know that dt equal to 0, and also we know that dV is not equal to 0, and we also know that dE equal to 0. This is true from the temperature of the water. No loss, no gain in the temperature of the water. And this is true because the gas is expanding into the second copper vessel. Therefore, change in volume is not equal to 0. And there is no change in internal energy. How we prove this? No heat gain, no work done. Therefore, there is no change in the internal energy. So now these are the three important observations in the Joule's experiment. Now, what is the differential for the internal energy? We know that dE equal to dou E over dou V at constant temperature times dV plus dou E over dou T at constant volume times dt. So this one is 0, therefore this term becomes 0, because we know that this dt equal to 0. And now this is also 0, and this is not equal to 0. So this term and this term both are 0 only if this term equal to 0, that is dou E over dou V at constant temperature is equal to 0. So that means internal energy of a gas is independent of its value. So therefore we can say at constant temperature, constant temperature. So therefore at constant temperature, what happens? dE is simply is equal to dou E over dou V times dV. So here also it becomes 0, because dou E over dou V is proved to be 0 in the Joule's experiment. Therefore, what we can write? We can write that this one, dou E over dou V, which is a Joule's coefficient, having the units of pressure, therefore this is defined as an internal pressure. Dou E over dou V, which is known as the Joule's coefficient. Equal to 0 for an ideal gas, which is known as a internal pressure. This is known as internal pressure, and its value depends on the intermolecular forces. For an ideal gas, there will be no intermolecular attractive forces. Ideally, it is equal to 0. For real gases, it is not 0, because in the real gases there will be attractions and there will be repulsions between the gas molecules depending on the conditions. Therefore, dou E over dou V at constant temperature is not equal to 0 for ideal gas. So internal pressure of real gas is not 0. It has some magnitude, and its magnitude depends on which factor? Depends on intermolecular attractions. And this factor, internal pressure, is quite large for solids and liquids. Why? Solids and liquids have a very high attractions. That's why dou E over dou V has a big value for solids and liquids. And we just learned that the dependence of internal energy with respect to volume is nothing. There is no relationship with respect to change in the volume to internal energy. That means internal energy is independent of volume. The same way we can also prove that internal energy is independent of pressure also. We know this one, and we already know pressure and volume are related. So from this we can also write that dou E over dou P at constant temperature is equal to 0, and these two things will give us a one important observation. What is that? Internal energy E is independent of volume and pressure. So internal energy depends only on the temperature. Therefore, internal energy is a function of temperature only. In the same way, we can also prove that enthalpy is also independent of volume and pressure. So what is the relationship we can write here? That is dou H over dou V at constant temperature is equal to dou H over dou P at constant temperature. Both are 0 for an ideal gas. What does it mean? Enthalpy of a system for a gas which is ideal doesn't depend on the volume and temperature. Therefore, enthalpy is also a function of temperature. And how do we prove this? Let's prove it now. Let's assume that enthalpy is a function of temperature and pressure. Now let's write its differential dH equal to dou H over dou T at constant pressure times dt plus dou H over dou P at constant temperature times Tp. So therefore, what is this factor? Dou H by dou T, that we know it is Cp. Therefore, we get dH equal to Cp dt plus dou H over dou P at constant temperature times Tp. Okay, so now let's prove it. We know that H equal to E plus PV. Now let's take differential on both sides. That makes dH equal to dE plus, if we do the chain rule on this, we get PdV plus VdP. Now let's substitute dH as Cp dt plus dou H over dou P at constant temperature times Tp is equal to, and what is dE? dE is Cv dt plus dou E over dou V at constant temperature times Tv plus this term. What is that? PdV plus PdP. Now let's assume that there is no change in the temperature. That makes this term at constant temperature dt equal to 0. That makes this term equal to 0, this term equal to 0, and we are left with only one term on the left side and three terms on the right side. So what is that? That's going to be dou H over dou P at constant temperature times Tp equal to dou E over dou V at constant temperature times dV plus PdV plus VdP. Now let's divide on both sides with dP. Divide with dP on both sides. So that gives us dP will cancel out on the left side. That simply gives dou H over dou P at constant temperature. That's equal to, here we have divided this. That means we get dV over dP. So therefore we have dou E over dou P times dou V over dou P. So It is a constant temperature process, therefore this is. Then T times dou V over dou P at constant temperature, and P times dP over dt is simply V. Simply V. So what we can take here, in this we have a two things common. So dou V over dou P in this factor and dou V over dou P in this factor. So this is a common factor. Therefore I take common factor here, that is dou H over dou P at constant temperature is equal to dou V over dou P at constant temperature times now dou E over dou V at constant temperature plus P. This is a common factor, and what is left over? Plus V. Now this is for an ideal gas. Ideal gas, what is the equation? PV equal to nRT. So that gives us, let's take 1 mole gas, that gives us PV equal to RT. So if we take the differentiation with respect to P on both sides, or let's take the differential on both sides, therefore that gives us PdV plus VdP equal to nRT. And we already know that it's a constant pressure, so temperature dt equals 0. The right side fraction will be 0. This is 0, and here we have PdV plus VdP. Now I divide both these two factors with dP, then we get P times dou E over dou P, dou V over dou P plus V. This factor is equal to 0. Now let's do one thing here. What is there here? We have a dou V over dou P at constant pressure, and we have a dou E over dou V. This factor we already know from the Joule's experiment. So now let's plug this one. So we get dou H over dou P at constant temperature is equal to dou V over dou P at constant pressure, and this, and if we see this one is 0, therefore we have 0 plus P plus V. So therefore we are left with dou V over dou P, and this is only P is left over plus P. And what is this factor from the ideal gas equation? That we just put the P times dou V over dou P at constant pressure plus V equal to 0. Therefore this factor completely is equal to 0. Therefore dou H over dou P at constant temperature is equal to 0. What does it prove? It proves that enthalpy is independent of, H is independent of temperature, independent of pressure. So therefore we already know that pressure and volume are related, so that infers H is also independent of volume. Therefore it gives H is only a function of temperature. So that's how we have proved that enthalpy and internal energy are only functions of temperature. They are independent of volume and temperature. So this is the class for today. In the next class we will do some problems about work done in the adiabatic process and isothermal process. Also PV graphs for several processes like isochoric process, isobaric, adiabatic and isothermal processes. Thank you, and thank you very much.